Hey guys, it's Leo with Dreaming Tree, and in this video we're going to put together the Lollipop Daisy paper sculpture. Now this is the first paper sculpture that we've released since our initial offering, where we included the butterfly, the hummingbird, and the heart, and so many of you had wanted more, and we plan on doing more. This is the first of, I'm sure, many to come. So as you can see, it's a very simple piece actually, and it doesn't take long at all to put together. Just need a good dowel, maybe two different size dowels. I think I used a 3/8 inch dowel and a 1/4 inch dowel to train all the little petals. I used some pop dots to affix the leaves in the back so that they really wouldn't move, some glue. We have a full supply list on the website that shows you everything you need to create this. And we've also included some optional vinyl. If you are going to make this for Mother's Day, we've included a double layered caption with some hearts. I used just some standard Cricut vinyl to decorate mine. I did a light pink on top of a white. The white kind of shows through behind the hearts as well to kind of give it a little bit of extra dimension. And we've also included a mum version of the caption as well. So I hope you have all of your papers cut out and ready to go, and let's go ahead and show you how this thing goes together. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do, and I've actually done a little bit of prep work here, is we're gonna put these main leaves down. And as you can see here, I've kind of curled the tips of the little leaves here, and I was just kind of really random with it. I took this is about a 1/4 inch dowel, and as you can see, here, this tip is kind of, I guess you would call it like a mountain fold. It's folded down. This one's folded up. This one's folded up. So I'm gonna fold this one down. And then the rest of it, just be random with it. So I'm just gonna curl this one up, maybe this one up, and I'll curl this one down. There's no right or wrong way to do it. Just try to make it as random as possible. You know, alter and change up the angle at which you're curling things, and just kind of give it your little personal touch, and I guess just kind of express yourself when you're curling these. And the reason we're doing that is just to kind of make them kind of pop and stand out. Just want to give it a little bit of dimension. And what we're going to do is, I'll show you here in just a second, your download came with this little piece here. And this piece is kind of a, just a little piece to help you basically place these pieces here. So you're gonna take this piece and put it up to the corner, make sure that it's flush of your 12 by 12 sheet that you're gonna basically mount everything on, and just make sure that the petals here, the little petals of this leaf, or not petals, but just the portions of the leaf, match up with the little cutout, okay? And that's how you know where to place it. So that should be true all the way around on all the sides. So let me show you how I did this. I just kind of placed it here in the corner, just like that. Okay, it can be off by a little bit, but try to get it as close as you can, make it flush with the corner there. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put glue on this little triangular portion, okay? And then I'm gonna take and hold this down, make sure that it's nice and flush there, and take the tip of that leaf and make sure that it's right there at the tip of that little cutout. Make sure that it fits like a puzzle, okay? And then it's nice and centered, and then just push it down. And that's how you know where it needs to go. Okay, now this part's a little loose, so what I did, I literally just took one pop dot and put it on the back part of this thicker portion of this leaf, and I just pop dotted that down. And that will hold the rest of it in place. Okay, so very simple first part of this, nothing to it really. And then we're gonna go ahead and begin layering the flower portion, which is made up of these pieces here. So we're pretty much done with this. You can go ahead and recycle that or do whatever you want to do with it. And let's take a look at the actual flower portion here. Okay, it's going to go from big to small. So we've got two of these with a little heart shape. Okay, one's a little bit smaller than the other. This is the circular one. This one's got the hearts. And then this one's got this little design on it. And we're going to offset these as we go. So what we want to do is we want to grab like a marker or a really thick dowel. And I'm going to start with the backmost layer. And all we want to do with these is take these petals and just wrap them around something round like this dowel. Okay, just to kind of give it that look. Okay, so this dowel is approximately, let's see, it's about 3/8 of an inch. Okay, so it's a 3/8 of an inch dowel that I'm using to wrap these petals around. You don't want to crease them, you want to just give them a nice round bend. Okay, so it just kind of looks like that. And we're going to do that with this and these two petals. Okay, so all three of these petals you're going to do that with. And we can go ahead and begin gluing that into place. So go ahead and just kind of, like I said, about 3/8 of an inch is all you pretty much need. Okay, and we're going to get those glued into place, and then we can start working on the main interior of the flower, which will go together fairly quickly as well. So this is going to be a pretty quick project. After your machine cuts everything out, shouldn't take that long at all. So go ahead and do that, and we'll meet you at the next step here. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm just going around on these three large flowers and just kind of molding them to my 3/8 inch dowel. Okay, and as you can see, it's kind of making it dimensional. It's not a lot of work. It's just kind of tedious and repetitive. Not even tedious, more just repetitive. And we're going to get these glued into place here. So you can see here, I'm just kind of curling it around the dowel just to kind of train that paper to stand up. Okay, we tried to kind of train these petals in various ways, but this seemed to be the most effective. Okay, so there we go, we've got that. And again, at this point, what we're going to do is we're just going to begin gluing our first large petal down. So make sure that you've got the larger one, which is the one with the little circles. Okay, and get that centered as best as you can here. And I'm going to have the one petal here facing straight up north. Okay, and just make sure that I've got it nice and centered. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and apply my glue to the back of this guy and just get that nice and centered. That looks pretty good, and if you want, you can kind of grab a dowel and use a dowel to sort of measure and make sure that you have it pretty centered. Okay, that looks pretty centered to me. Okay, yeah, that's about right. Just to get that first one nice and centered. Okay, then we're going to take our second one and we're going to glue that down, and we're going to offset that. And again, just make sure that you have that nice and centered. It may help to kind of get an eagle-eye view, so just stand up above it just to make sure that you are in fact getting it nice and centered. We want this thing to be pretty geometrical. Okay, and just offset those petals. Get it nice and centered. And that looks pretty good, so just go ahead and push that down. Okay, and we'll grab our third one here. And again, we're offsetting that. And I'm just kind of doing another eagle-eye view of it. Just making sure that I've got it nice and centered. That looks pretty good like that. Okay, just trying to visualize it before I put it down. Kind of helps. Okay, so let's offset that slightly. Just like that. That's pretty good right about there. Okay, I'm going to push that down. Just hold that down for a few seconds until it dries. Okay, so this is actually a daisy that we're creating, one large daisy. Okay, and then we can start working on the inner flower here, which is made up of these pieces. And again, I have these kind of organized based on size. We'll put this color aside and we'll focus on this color. There's two that have this sort of heart shape. Okay, those are the same size, and there's two of the same color that just look like that. Okay, and the idea is to kind of train these so that as you get into this more into the center of the flower, they curl more. So the outer ones are going to have less curl. Okay, so what we want to do with these is just slightly curl them. I would start in the middle of the petal and just do a very slight curl. Okay, you don't want to overly curl them. We want them just to kind of raise up just a tad. Okay, so just going to go around. When you get to the smaller flowers, they're a lot easier and a lot quicker to work with. So that is pretty much good. And if we feel that we need to curl them more, you can always do it after the fact. It's never too late. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of visualize where I want that. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and put my glue on the back and offset that just a tiny bit, get it nice and centered. Let's see, how does that look? That looks pretty good. Okay, there we go. That looks nice. Okay, so we'll grab the next one that has the little heart-shaped top. And again, this time we're going to curl it just a little bit more. Okay, it may be hard to judge if in fact you're curling it a little bit more, but if you just kind of take a look at the first one that you did, you'll see that this one is kind of sticking up a little bit more. And then as we get more to the inside of the flower, we'll end up curling it even tighter, maybe with a smaller dowel too. Okay, so let's see how that looks. Okay, that's not bad. I feel like we could probably curl it a little more. So I'm going to go ahead and curl that even more. And at some point, you may need to get a smaller dowel because depending on the diameter of the dowel, you can only train it so much. Okay, and again, it's never too late after the fact to do some additional training on these petals because they'll all be accessible. So don't worry if they're not perfect initially. You can always go in and clean them up later on. Okay, so that is definitely a little more curled. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on the back of this, and I'm going to offset it, make sure it's nice and centered, nice and even, and push that down and get it into place. All right, so you see what's happening here. It's looking pretty awesome. All right, now I'm going to grab this dowel. This dowel is about 1/4 inch. Okay, and I'm going to start using the 1/4 inch dowel on this next set of pieces here. Okay, and I am going to just curl these like so. Okay. All right. And then before we glue it down, we can just kind of place it in the center there and see what it looks like and see if we feel like it's getting enough curve. And I think it is. I think that was actually pretty good. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put a little bit of glue on the back of this. And again, get it nice and offset, nice and centered. Okay, and just push that down. And see what I mean? you still have access to all these petals, so you can curl them even after the fact. Okay, so that looks good. We'll grab the next one here, and I'm going to grab this petal, and I want to curl this even more, so I'm going to go ahead and actually curl it, just train it real quick, and then also wrap it around the dowel to kind of take that tip and curl it in even more. Okay, so you see what it does with that tip when I do that. It really makes it kind of curve in. So the first little action that I'm doing here trains the entire petal, and then that last little wrap around curls that petal inward. Okay, so you see in like almost seeing like 3 tones there. You've got this regular color, there's a little bit of darker shade here, and then a lighter shade there, and it just really makes it more interesting. Okay, so this is taking a little bit more time, but relatively speaking, it's really not all that bad. Okay, get that wrapped up. Just like that. Okay, and let's see how that curls. Okay, so if you offset that, that's looking pretty good. Okay, and you can always kind of bunch them in even more, like that. Okay, so let's just get that glued into place, and then we can make some final adjustments after the fact. Just get that nice and centered and offset. Okay, just make sure it's nice and even. There we go. Okay, that looks great. And again, like I said, you can always kind of scrunch them in. And for the most part, they will stay in place for you. There we go. That's looking really pretty. Okay, so we have, let's see here. I think we have 4 more. These 4 here are all the same size. Okay, and then we've got 2, oh wait, no. Oh, we've got one more in the center. So we've got 4 of these. Okay, and I'm gonna continue to use this 1/4-inch dowel. Let me just confirm here that these are all the same size. They are. Okay, so with these, I'm definitely going to wrap these around the dowel and bring them all the way into the center as far as you can go without ripping it. Okay, so I'm really just rolling that all the way into the center, and then you can kind of push them out. So we're going to do that to all 4 of these. Okay, and then as we're working our way in, we'll push the outer layers out more, and we'll let the inner layers stay in more. Okay, so do your best to not let them fold out after you fold them in, so that we can train them, so that we get the exact look that we're looking for. So curl them all basically to the same point, and then we can, as we're gluing them into place, push out the ones that we want to push out more to kind of get an even flow, so to speak, as far as the amount that they curl in or curl out, I guess. Hopefully I'm explaining that well. I will show you visually, because sometimes it's hard to explain verbally when it comes to this kind of stuff. So, but that looks pretty good to me. Okay, I'm gonna just leave that to the side until I get the rest of these curled. Okay, so go ahead and just curl all of them, just like I did with that last one, and then we'll meet up at the next step. Okay, so we're at this stage here, and I'm gonna go ahead and just grab one of these that I just trained and just kind of pop it in the center and see if the training looks like it would fit in that next layer as far as
the curving goes. And it looks like it kind of fits pretty nicely in there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get it glued down. It looks like logically it's curled just right is what I'm trying to say, in that there's a little bit of gap here. It's curled just slightly more than the layer before it. So it kind of shows a natural little progression of curling here. Okay, so I'm gonna take a look at the other ones here. And this one looks like it's curled a lot more. And you know, worst case scenario, if you need to curl it even more and kind of get it more, you know, kind of together, you can always kind of squeeze it together like that. So this one here, to me, looks like the next most logical, and I'm just going to go ahead and kind of smush this in a little bit more even, just to kind of make sure that when I pop it in there, that looks good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on this guy here. Okay, and again, just keep those petals offset. Okay, get them offset and get that glue in there. That looks good. And again, once the glue really sets, you can go in here and just kind of manipulate each of these little petals and get them to sit exactly where you want them to sit. Okay, so that's looking really good so far. This one looks like the next most logical one, and I'm going to go ahead and bend that in a little bit more as well. Okay, just like that. Go ahead and put some glue on the back of this and get those petals offset and pop that in there. Okay, get it nice and centered, nice and offset. Kind of push some of these petals in more. There we go. Just like that. Okay, and then we have this guy here. And we're gonna actually maybe pull these out a little bit, because I think they're maybe encroaching a little bit too much. But that's the beautiful part about this is, you know, you can go in and alter this after the fact. So the idea is to just kind of make sure that when you put this next piece in, it's not getting lost in there and it's not too tight. Okay, so you kind of saw there what I had to do to make this all kind of piece and work together. So again, I'm offsetting that petal as well, just kind of staggering it. Okay, and that looks about right. Oops, that was slippery. There we go. And then while that one's in there, I can maybe even push these out a little bit more. Might be a little bit too much, but that's okay. It's good to overtrain them, because then it's easier to kind of flare these out at this point, where instead of trying to train them and curl them at this point would be a little bit more difficult than just kind of trying to push them out. So that looks really good so far. And we've got one left here. And these we definitely want to go ahead and curl just like that. Okay, we'll get this last piece in there. And then that's pretty much it for this piece. It's so simple. I totally think you guys are going to do some inking on this. It's totally awesome for inking, I'm sure. You could totally jazz it up with inks. My guess is that some of you are going to use some really glittery papers, maybe for the leaves, or some iridescent papers. I don't know. I can't wait to see what you guys did an amazing job with the paper sculptures that we released with the butterfly and the hummingbird and that heart. Okay, so this one here, we definitely want to curl this one in a little bit more than the others. So I'm just going to kind of jam it all together and then release it and see what it gives me. And that's pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and get some glue on there. Again, staggering the petals. You don't want them all aligned perfectly. You want them kind of offset just slightly. Okay, so that looks good. And then we can definitely take these and curl these in even more. So we kind of want them all to kind of come together in the center. Okay, just like that. Make it random. You know, we don't want it to be too perfect. Kind of want it just to be random. Okay, and then the idea is, and we have this piece here, this is the last little centerpiece. We want those petals to kind of, you know, want them to kind of hug this centerpiece. So I'm gonna go ahead and just, I'm gonna put little dots of glue on this to glue it to that other piece. Okay, so that's gonna go right on here. Just match up the little scallops on there. Okay, so that's what that piece is going to look like. And I'm going to pop dot that in the center to give it some dimension. So let's do that now. And I'm going to see if I can get 2 pop dots in there. I might need to use 1.5 because I want to make sure that it's got enough pop dot on there. Okay, so there's 1 pop dot. Let me see if I can get another one in there. Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, so we got 2 pop dots on there. I'm gonna go ahead and pop that right in the center of our flower. Okay, and then you can go ahead and kind of curl those middle ones in so that there we go. Like I said, just make it kind of random. There we go. Okay. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think that looks pretty darn good. Okay, so there is your paper scape, or your paper sculpture, I should say. It's not a paper scape. Okay, so I've got my frame here, and should be able to, and this thing's pretty much symmetrical, so it doesn't matter which way you put it in. Go ahead and just pop that into your frame. Put the backing on. Okay, and close it up. Now, one thing that I discovered, if I could find it now, here it is. I just use my spatula to save my fingers from these tiny little metal things that usually cause me a lot of pain. Just get my spatula in there to close that up. Okay, and let's take a look. There we go. Really pretty, really beautiful, nice and centered, great dimension. Okay, so there is our sculpture. And I have here some vinyl, and we also included a I Love You Mom version for our friends across the pond. So I'm just gonna get my transfer tape ready here. And transfer tape is reusable. So if you have some leftover stuff from a previous project, definitely use that. And I do like to use the little grid on here to help me with alignments. So I'm just going to make sure that I get enough transfer tape here. And we'll go ahead and put our vinyl on and call it a day for this project. So we peel that off and then and get started. Now, if you don't want to do the dual layer thing, you can just do 1 layer, and that would look great. But you can definitely do the 2 layers. And I'm actually going to put this down and put my design on it the other way. No, that's not going to work. Okay, so the idea is to get it perfectly aligned here so that when I transfer it, I can actually use this guide to help me center it properly. I've got this cool little scraper tool by Silhouette. I'm going to flip this over, push down from the back here. And this is just the Cricut brand vinyl that I got from Joann. Okay, so I'm going to peel this back. Actually, I think it's easier if I just do it this way. Usually stays on better. Just like that. Okay. And I'm going to bring this down and just do my best to get this centered and low. I want just a little bit of space at the bottom. I want to make sure that it's level and centered. Last thing I want is for it to be off center, and that looks good. I'm going to move it just a tad this way, and there's no turning back now. There we go. Hopefully I got that nice and centered. Get that on there. Just push that down nicely. Just make sure that all that vinyl sticks, and then just peel it off like this. I'm using a nice white vinyl here. Now that I look at it, it almost looks a little off-white. I wonder if I got my vinyls confused here. Oh, that looks great. Okay, got some bubbles here and there. I'm sure that all of our vinyl pros know how to get those bubbles out. Okay, and then I have this top layer. So that bottom layer, you can cut that out on its own and just use that. Or, let me see if I've got enough transfer tape here to cover this up. I do. We've included another layer so you can double layer the vinyl to kind of create a shadow effect, because these hearts are a little bit larger than these hearts that I'm pulling up right now. So that'll kind of give you a cool two-tone effect on your vinyl, which is always more interesting if you've got that two-tone thing going. Makes it that much more special. Okay. And it's just a matter of getting it lined up. And again, I'm sure that there are some nice tips out there for getting these lined up perfectly. And I'm going to do my best to get this lined up. I'm going to actually sit down and do this. Yeah, this is kind of tricky because I should have gotten the clear transfer vinyl, but I didn't. Because how much fun would that be if it all just worked the first time? That wouldn't be fun, now would it? Okay, just gonna lay that down, and hopefully I got those all positioned right. If not, I can always go in and just kind of lift them up individually and shift them around. It's not the end of the world. Hopefully that comes out nice. Ah, that's pretty. That's not too bad. There we go. That's really pretty. Awesome. So again, vinyl is completely optional. You can add your own caption to this. We've included vinyl to cover Mother's Day. And I know that I can grab a little pin and poke that bubble out. And I will probably do that off camera so you guys are not bored with me here, but really happy with the way that came out. And I know my mom's gonna love this.
So I hope you guys enjoyed making this just as much as I did. And I can't wait to see your version. So if you do make one, I would love to see it on either Facebook or Instagram, or if you have a blog and you want to blog about it, definitely send me a link or email or whatever way. I'm all over the place as far as social media goes. So I'd definitely love to see it. So I really appreciate you joining me, and if you're watching us on YouTube, definitely subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our future assembly tutorials, and I look forward to crafting with you again. Stay on top of all things Dreaming Tree and engage with us today. Get the latest news and enter in our giveaways on Facebook. Get inspired by following us on Pinterest. Be the first to see our new product launches on Instagram. Do you prefer Twitter? Yep, we're there too. watch our beautiful product trailers and assembly tutorials on YouTube. For more information, visit www.3dsvg.com. Live, craft, love, and dream.